Hey, it's Kevin McCarthy, and welcome to another day in real estate. So, if you're thinking about selling your home this year, there's something you need to be prepared for. That is the possibility, and it's a high possibility, of receiving a lowball offer on your home. And although, that can be very disappointing and it can be, offensive, you can kind of take offense to it, you got to sit back for a minute and think about where we're coming from here. Interest rates have driven things up and slowed the market to a certain point. And even though it kind of feels like there's a lot of inventory is still historically low. So it's keeping home prices where they are because a lot of buyers are sitting on the fence. This has also created this situation where home buyers have kind of a warped expectation of what a good first offer might be. So it's just something that we need to be prepared for and understand where they're coming from when we do receive an offer like that on your home. Let's say we receive a lowball offer on your house. What's the first thing that we really need to do in taking into consideration? Because probably, you're going to get some people that aren't serious, but you probably do have a serious buyer who wants to move on the property. So let's double check the comps again. And let's see what are the comps, because things can change week by week. We could have a house down the street that made an impact that we didn't notice go on sale and close that could impact us from an appraisal standpoint or whatever. So let's just check it again and make sure that we're on the right mark for starters. And present that to them that, hey, here's where our data points are coming from, and it shows that we're in the right range. Also, we want to ask the buyer's agent, where did you come up with this number? Do they have some data points that maybe we missed or we need to consider thinking about? Start talking through it. Maybe the buyer is in a financial situation where they can't necessarily go that high, but they're really in love with the house. Are there other things or another way we can massage this to make the deal work, right? Maybe they're okay paying a little bit higher of a price if we can work in buying down their interest rate or something to that effect. You may be able to work a good deal for you, but coming right out the gate and being offended, I know it's hard not to do that. But in this market, we really have to work through the mud and find a happy place with people. Well, there's other parts of the contract, such as inspection contingencies, financing contingencies, whether the other buyer has to sell a house or not, and what their situation is. Maybe you need a little bit more time in order to move, and you can work out a sweet deal on your timeline that gives you the amount of time to get out of the house to find another house. And you may have to give up a little bit on the price, but it makes them happy and it gets you in a better position for what you're going to do to be able to negotiate a better deal where you're going. And we can make it up on that side. Now, you definitely want to counter, and putting together a counteroffer to them shows them that we're engaging with them. Now, if you have somebody that's absolutely just, rejects your counter and they're hard line at where they are, they may just be fishing, and it's something that wasn't ever going to go anywhere to begin with. But if somebody gets engaged, then we can generally work it to a good point. So putting together a good solid counteroffer with your points of why you are putting this together where it is can go a long way. You also might be dealing with somebody on the other side that does not understand things. You could be dealing with an agent on the other side that does not understand things or know how to explain things. So having a really good agent on the listing side that can articulate those things in a counteroffer as to why it should be the way that it is. Sometimes that stuff just gets passed on to the buyer, and the buyer is able to see the whole picture and understand it themselves. So the next step in the process is we'll really look at the numbers for your house, see what makes sense, visit about your timeline, start with a pre-listing interview, talk about what your needs are, what you've done with your house, and then once you have 1,000-foot view of things and you can really take a look at the whole picture, you can decide what next moves to make. So again, I'm Kevin McCarthy. It's another day in real estate. I would love to speak with you if you would like some real estate advice on your house. If you're thinking about selling or you know somebody who's thinking about selling this year, I'd love to have a conversation with them. So please feel free to reach out to me.